Welcome in. It's the pre-race pull, baby. Uh-oh, looks like I'm getting a little issue with... Am I normal? Do I look normal? Hang on. Is there an issue with the internet, the Wi-Fi here? You see me okay? Who's going to be the winning strategy and who's points racing? Hey, yeah, happy Father's Day, everyone. Got a few brewskis here. Let's let's have a drink. Let's talk about some NASCAR. Whoa, Rory Picks. What's up, Rory Picks? Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, buddy? Your boy C. Bell didn't qualify very well, but hey, happy Father's Day. Welcome to the pre-race poll. This is the world's best NASCAR pre-race show, interactive. We drink and we talk about race predictions. There's nothing better. Cheers, everybody. That might be a 2-beer pull. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I drank all those before the pull started. What do you want on Father's Day? Well, you want a 730 beer. Well, cider. It's a cider. Yeah. So, B-Dog Soba. This is a Lone Tree. It is hands down, the best thing to drink in the morning. Haven't had anything better. Yeah, it's a Lone Tree. I don't know. It's made in BC, and it's just a great morning beer. Ross. So, Ross, I was trying to have a Caesar this morning, which is, basically a Canadian Bloody Mary. And we're out of vodka. But my birthday is Cinco de Muerto. And Cinco de Muerto, I end up with a lot of tequila. I have like 8 bottles of tequila unopened. So a Busch Light Apple, maybe. Yeah, now I'm a cider. I've been a cider guy forever. I've always been a cider guy. Anyway, let's get into this race. We got a race today. All right. So I am going to talk mainly about second practice, P2. Okay. Bloody Maria, is that a gin? Okay. I'm going to talk mainly about second practice. Do I think they race? Okay. I looked at the weather, and it looks like we're racing, and there's no rain until the evening. Am I wrong? Are they like right in Mexico City? Oh, tequila's a Bloody Maria. Okay. Wait, are we not racing? I think we're racing. Am I out to lunch on that? No rain until 5. Yeah, I think weather's fine. Okay, Oh, you're in Mexico City right now. Nate, you're the best. Okay. The rain's very... So, Nate, stay with us here. You're going to be our guy at the track. You're in Mexico City. That's awesome. I'm jealous. Just rain, too. Perfect. Okay. I think we've already discussed... I'm going to go over mainly second practice and maybe take a few glances at first practice when it suits my arguments. Okay, yeah, weather updates every 30 seconds. That'd be perfect. All right, let's get into it. SVG. Is SVG going to be good today? What do we think? Yeah. SVG is going to be awesome all day long. Yeah, SVG is going to be awesome, and it doesn't matter rain or shine. SVG is going to be good. Cool Dads Club. SVG is going to be good all day. I have a little bit at 4. I know Todd's just finding out this information, but Todd, very low maxes. Very low. to the point where it's not worth splitting. I think if SVG wins, I still lose money. That's where I'm at. But I think, yeah, SVG plus 450 after practice, that was crazy. That was crazy. Didn't see anything in practice that to me would make him look bad. Now, the one thing about SVG you have to know on road courses, I don't know even I should be saying this. He doesn't run many laps. Basically the conversation is, do you have a good feel for it? Yeah, okay, bring it in. Let's make a change. Perfect. So yes, SVG is going to be good. Probably properly priced about that. I don't know. Did Todd say he was down to plus 190 some places? Can we get an update on his prices? SVG. I see plus 240 something. I don't know. I haven't refreshed this. Let's see. Plus 240. Is that the best at DraftKings or FanDuel? Excuse me. Don't hate it. All right, Ryan Preece. Got to be overvalued, right? I mean, his price is down to 14 some places. He was decent in practice. Not great, but decent. I don't know. Grab Trackhouse plus 250 prior to qualifying. That's good. Yeah, Preece, I tend to agree with Brian. You cannot be on Ryan Preece at these prices. Preece was so out of control in qualifying. So Cygnus, I'll say this. He was out of control, but also he was catching Buescher fast. So that's why he was, a little bit out of control. I think he got into the wake, and I don't understand. I'm not smart enough to know how the elevation affects the draft or whether there's going to be, the difference in downforce in the corners. I don't know. All I know is most drivers were talking about how it was just very unexpected the way that the cars handled at this elevation. Yeah, he had the ghost car in Buescher. That helps massively when it comes to road racing, in my opinion, is if basically you just drive it in a little harder than the car in front of you and you're able to make up time because that car in front of you doesn't have the rabbit out in front to try to catch. Does anywhere have a stage 1 Preece win bet? Okay. Makes it hard to breathe. I know. Thanks, Ryan. You're always just like Bill Nye. Okay. Ross Chastain, another guy that looked good in practice. He ran a couple of laps under that 94-second mark, which is great. I cannot get behind him being the second favorite. Am I the only one that thinks he shouldn't be the second favorite? I feel like there's better road course racers out there, but Chastain qualified well. Maybe there's some Trackhouse mojo going with SVG being there. I just think overvalued at this point. Really hard for me to get behind that price. Do I think he's going to be fine all day? Sure, I do. I think Gibbs is going to kind of race, or not Gibbs. Chastain's going to race, top 7 all day long. And you need to be aggressive on restarts. However, this restart zone is normal. Turn 1 is normal. It's very much like Watkins Glen where you have a long straight and then a quick turn. The thing though is at the Glen, you're able to kind of work your spread out a little bit. That's not what happens here. You get turn 2 and 3 like that, and it makes it real hard. So Ryan, I hate who said how hard does he race? Yeah. Where do we brag about the stale numbers we got on? Yeah. How hard is it? Robert brought up a good point. How hard does he race SVG? Because SVG needs to get into the playoffs. He needs a win. One guy that will be racing hard is Ty Gibbs. Yeah, let's keep moving here. We're 9 minutes in and we're through 3 guys. I think Chastain's going to be good. I can't play him. I think he's overvalued at his current prices. If you did get in early at that 20 or 20 to 1, 16 to 1 price after the opener and then after practice, great job. You're sitting good with that. I don't know that he has the car to drive to the lead, but he's going to be around all day. Ty Gibbs, another overvalued guy in my opinion. However, if you got that 25 or 30 early in the week, well, congratulations. You're sitting real nice with that price. I, again, don't know that Ty Gibbs can just race up there and pass SVG, but I do think he can pass Ryan Preece. I think he's slightly better than Ross Chastain, and he raced yesterday, albeit a shorter race, but he still did race. And I think that gives, I always say that if you race in the Xfinity race, it's not the closest thing I can say is you're just one adjustment ahead. That's my closest comparison. You're just one adjustment ahead. So you kind of know where the track's going. You're comfortable with more comfortable with the track than the other drivers that didn't race a race. So I always call it like you're one adjustment ahead. That's what it's like to race in the Xfinity race and then race on Sunday. I think Ty Gibbs is going to be good. I nibbled some 25 after practice 1. Thought that was pretty solid. Do I expect him to win? No, I don't. I don't expect him to win, but I expect him to be around. Yeah, 9-1 is laughable. I agree, Mac. Gibbs and Chastain bearing off to turn 1. What could go wrong? I agree. Gibbs and Chastain. Throw McDowell in there. Very aggressive. I also love Michael McDowell. Let's talk about him. I have some Michael McDowell at 30 and 25-1. I really like it. Now, this is where I'm going to bring up P1 and P2. In P1, McDowell was arguably the best car with SVG. I do know that Chase Briscoe ran some fast laps. I think that Ty Gibbs was also fast. SVG was the most consistent. I like Michael McDowell today. I like Michael McDowell. He's a true road course racer. I don't know that anyone's going to go up there and beat SVG. It's going to be really hard to do that. You're going to have to be a little off on strategy. Maybe you're going to have a little bit fresher tires. Maybe you're going to be better on fuel. There's going to be one of those things that you're going to need in your back pocket in order to pass SVG. But McDowell has the talent to do it. I don't hate his current prices. And I think he's going to be solid. McDriver for sure. But yeah, I'm holding 30 and 25. McDriver will strategize race better than the 54 and the 1, not 54-2-1. Okay. What would I take McDowell down to? I just like that 14. I don't like much lower than 14 because there are talented drivers ahead of him. You know, Ross is a very serviceable road course racer. So is Ty. So is SVG. I like McDowell, but I do think it's going to be hard to pass some of those cars. Kyle Larson, I think there's a lot of room for improvement with Hendrick Motorsports, obviously. You know, that 12-1 price after practice was probably good, but that 8-1, not sure. Not sure. Oh, 19-1 for McDowell at MGM. I mean, you can get more than $10 on it. I would be shocked. So 17, yeah, sure. I like that. I am optimistic about Larson. I think of the kind of non-road course, traditional road course guys, he's probably the best. But I don't know. It didn't seem that great. They didn't seem that comfortable on the radio. You know, has Larson felt disengaged since IndyRack? I don't know. Maybe. I think Larson's going to be solid. His first practice was a little bit better than his second practice, in my opinion. Second practice was just kind of meh. But you also have Cliff Daniels with 2 practices. I wouldn't bet against him. Todd Gilliland, what a great qualifying. The Gleavers are out there. Larson, an alcoholic. I don't think so. Yeah, I think so too. Larson live. I'm not wearing a Padres hat. No. I'm wearing a Cool Dads Club and then Maple Ranch. My buddy has a ranch in Kansas. Anyway, Gleavers, yeah, he's getting to hang on. He was really solid in P2, but only ran 5 laps that I thought were worth, a damn. Let's see, maybe he ran more. No, he only ran 5. So, not enough. Who wins the U.S. Open? Ryan. Shh. Gilliland 9-1 pre-practice was good. Oh yeah, there's the Galieber, Patrick Duffy. He's our Galieber. You haven't had a single sip yet, Brian? What are you doing? I got 1 left. 10:14 in the morning. Sorry, Mom, Dad. I know you're watching. Gilliland, I think he has to survive. I don't see him like driving up through the field. Allmendinger. He has to be better than his car, but Allmendinger is just such an entertaining listen on the radio. No beers for you, Ryan. I drink. This is a joke. Get it together. I'm actually not impressed with the pre-race poll attendees. Someone has to be drinking. Someone chime in that's been boozing a little bit. I mean, it's race day, for heaven's sakes. Dinger has to be better than his car showed. But he's also probably going to put it, he's better than his car right now. And that's a problem for someone like AJ Allmendinger. Tremendous upside at 20-1. Your sponsor sent me a link for this podcast. There you go, Keith. Thank you. Nigel, you got to be drinking. I know you are. Your boy qualified 31st. Oh, Highline's smoking. Okay. All right. Good. At least we have some people operating with a buzz around here. You played golf in the morning. Okay, good. NASCAR guys 5 deep. All right. Cheers, NASCAR guy. All right. Thank you, Turtle Man. Gosh, I'm so glad that I don't have just a bunch of square bears on here. This is not that. This is a very well-spoken, buzzed podcast live stream where we actually talk about important things. So AJ Allmendinger, I do not hate anyone that thinks that there's upside at this current price. You only get points for hangover if you're drinking through it. Okay, good. You cracked a Corona to nurse it. Okay. I think Allmendinger, if you like Allmendinger in at any, almost in anything right now, I would agree. I think we're talking about how Ty Gibbs and Ross Chastain are overvalued. I think AJ Allmendinger, just based on talent, even though I don't think his car is quite there, the talent is. I think that those guys, Chastain and Gibbs, are overrated or overvalued, and I think AJ is undervalued. Joey Logano was Bob Pockrass's pick. I can't believe that. I do know that in second practice, those Penske cars looked strong. It was a good qualifying. He's won one road course. I don't see how Logano gets it done. I don't. I know I got my mom and stepmom on here that just love Logano, and I just, man, can anybody get behind Logano? I just can't. What's the argument for Logano? Logano wins the stage today, Big Ross says. Yep. And if Big Ross and Highline agree, I could agree with that. Bob's pick has to be based on winning first-time events. Okay. Fair enough, Nigel. Stage points. Moms for Logano is quite the club. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I don't know. I am not going to be super high on Joey Logano. Where is he at here? I want to look at his practice times exactly. He was decent in second practice. I don't know what else to say. Decent. Maybe he goes out there and wins the stage. Daniel Suarez. Danny. He was okay. I got, he posted, Pockrass posted, why Suarez is optimistic about winning today or potential. And I commented, because turns 1, 2, and 3 have the potential to take out the top 7 best cars. And people kind of hated on me for that. I think you fade Suarez, if anything. I agree. Suarez is a fade. He got his win. Yeah, I agree. He'll be aggressive. He could end up at the back. He has a way better chance of finishing last than he does first. Kyle Busch, kind of a quiet week, a good qualifying. I don't think there's a ton of speed there. He's just kind of, I don't know, very middle of the pack. Qualifying, about 10 teams got caught by the weather. I think that's why you see so many questions in the front. Yeah, maybe. I also am not shocked. I'm not shocked at the qualifying. Maybe a little bit on Priest. If anything, Suarez is a fade, my opinion. However, if you're a fan of Elon Musk, the best story usually wins. If that's the case, Daniel Suarez wins today. I don't think so. Kyle Busch, nothing on nor against. I think he's just very serviceable. If anything, I'd be slightly against Kyle Busch. Chase Elliott, I thought, was very strong in the long run. I don't think he'll make many mistakes. I think he'll work his way to the front. I don't know that he's going to be flying, making a bunch of passes, but just no mistakes, methodical. I kind of like Chase. You're seeing a decent number on him. What do we got? The best number on Chase, just based on what I'm seeing, and you guys can see more real time than I can. Chase at 12. I mean, Chase at 12 on a road course. Okay. He hasn't had race winning speed, in my opinion. Although Michigan last week, there's an argument that he might have been the fastest car until he had a little bit of a poor strategy and then just gave away track position. But yeah, the top 5 does feel a little bit better than the outright price because I think that he kind of can just make no mistakes and make his way to the top 5. Let's see. I'd rather wait and bet him live. Yeah. Fire Gustafson. Here we go. All right, keep it moving. Josh Berry, not a road course racer, but again, Penske in the second practice was strong. I'm not behind Josh Berry. Again, another guy that you fade. Eric Jones, in my opinion, the most underrated driver in NASCAR. I think he kind of hangs around. We're seeing a little bit more speed out of this team. And again, I don't think he tries to ask too much of the race car. Could be just a solid day for Eric Jones and this 43 team. A solid top 10 would be great. McDowell top 3 plus 450. I looked at that. I did look at that. Yeah. Wow. Jacob says fire the driver of the 9. Do you imagine Chase Elliott getting like relegated to like a full-time Xfinity guy? Oh boy. Riley Herbst. Well, great qualifying. Don't know that I can see him moving up. I think he'll move back. Does anyone else? I think Riley Herbst just qualified really well. Chris Buescher. Jacob. You put the driver of the 77 car in the 9 car, and I think he wins more. Yeah. 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 That'd be crazy. And yes, Chris Buescher, I think, is going to be very good. Very good. I like Buescher every which way. So do with that what you like. Not a great qualifying. I thought he'd qualify a little better, but he was real good. Dodge should talk to Elliott about rebuilding their cup program. Buescher. I like Buescher. Justin Haley, gosh, it's hard to be positive right now with that team. They just haven't shown a ton of speed. I do think in the over long races, he's just, if he can hang out, maybe top 15, but I doubt it. Ryan Blaney, really strong in second practice. Wait, are we pounding Buescher today? Oh man, I don't know that I'm pounding any drivers this show. But last week I was pounding a lot of them. Didn't work out well. What are you talking about, Rain, Highline? I know that top 10 on Buescher plus 120. It does feel too easy. It does feel too easy. Pound Town. All right. Ryan Blaney, I thought was good. I do have some Ryan Blaney at 50. Do I think he's going to win? No. I just thought that there was upside on his qualifying. The plus 120s at a few PPH shops. Oh, man. 61% by 3 p.m. Blaney top Ford. Man, I don't know about that. We're getting to the point where, you're starting back with the squirrels. You are going to require a little bit of luck to make it up there. Dinger's even money over Suarez. Yeah. The only thing is I hate betting on Dinger in matchups because I think he's like checkers or wreckers. Busher beat SVG straight up at Watkins Glen. I know. Yeah. I like Dinger over Suarez. Yeah. Rocky Mountain Bet says 12% at 3 p.m. If I had to pick someone to look at information and tell me what it means, I would take Highline over a lot of people. So, but he's also not a meteorologist. Let me say that. Chase Briscoe, kind of thought he'd qualify better, huh? Suarez is now the 4th favorite at bookmaker. What price, Todd? That's hilarious. I mean, that is hilarious. You almost just got to go find just fade Suarez across the board. The 99 is 10-1 at DraftKings. Are there people out there that think that Suarez is going to try harder today than he has at previous races? If that's the case, Suarez will try harder in Mexico City. I would fire his ass instantly for underperforming every other race up until this one. So these idiots that think that Suarez is going to drive through the field because it's in Mexico City, you're wrong. Because if that were to be the case, you'd have to fire him. Because why were you not trying harder earlier in the year? Rant over. His wife probably gave him a good car. Oh, man. That'd be crazy. Okay. Where are we at? Austin Cindric. Again, a guy that I thought would be better. Here's the thing with Cindric. He was high up on the one lap when it came to practice, but long run, not quite there. Not quite there. Can't see him motoring through the field. I really can't. I thought that there was a potential for a good qualifying and maybe a good finish for him, but nah. Yeah, no chance, Cindric. Man. Austin Dillon, gosh, I got no feel on Austin Dillon other than slow. Austin Dillon's a fade, guys. Road course. Tyler Reddick, 22nd. Remember when Tyler Reddick was almost seemed unbeatable on road courses? That was just a few years ago. Did I skip Briscoe? I mean, I thought he was going to be better. To me, Briscoe is kind of middle of the road. I don't know that he's going to need some sort of luck or strategy to get up to the front. I don't think his car's fast enough to get up there. Reddick up to 25 at Superbook. That's crazy. But he also didn't show short run or long run speed. Normally, you'd see at least a fast lap from Reddick. Nope, not this time. I got nothing on nor against. Carson Hocevar. If there's anyone that you think can just drive up through the field, it does not matter the track, I am taking Carson Hocevar. Does anyone carve up the field or drive through the field like Carson Hocevar in the Cup Series right now? Larson, maybe. Hamlin, maybe. That's it. Who else drives through the field like Carson Hocevar? But he also can't finish a race. So do with that information what you like. Maybe Bell. We're not to Bell yet, Jacob. But Hocevar, I mean, he restarted on the front 2 rows at Watkins Glen last year. I thought he was going to be a donkey. Yeah, Blaney. Okay, Blaney's driven up through the field. Fair enough. Hocevar wins next week. Okay. All right, well, we'll see. Zane Smith, old zany boy. I don't know. Very middle of the road. There's a lot of guys that just look very average, and I would throw Zane in there. You could throw Tyler Reddick in there, Carson Hocevar, Bubba Wallace, Cole Custer. I don't know, kind of average. William Byron. I would say William looked above average. Okay. Seeing 25-1 on him, it's almost, there's some people like, well, Byron's 25-1, I'm taking him. Okay. But when does Byron start in the back and drive through the field? Go ahead. I'll wait. He doesn't. Now, if he gets a lucky caution or he steals track position, okay, maybe. Ty Dillon didn't look good. Alex Bowman, again, just very average to below average, and then a shitty qualifying. Going to be really hard. Yeah, Joey says overall prediction with the louver changes after P1, the Fords are going to be missiles on the straights. Okay. Did you notice Bob also mentioned the Fords have the cooling down and that's why he picked Joey? Okay. No, that's why we're on here. Bell needs to make, yeah, no kidding. We're starting Byron's annual summer slump when we could be. Chris Bell. Well, Bell, you really let me down last week. You made me look like an idiot. But I do think long run, Bell's going to be good. I do think that he'll stay out long, just like Coda, and drive through the field. I do think that. I think Bell's going to be good, but I'm not touching this 12 to 14 to 1 price. Not if you can bet live. No, 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 no. Who do I like in the rain? Yeah, SVG, Bell. I like McDowell in the rain. Gibbs has some. Gibbs is probably decent in the rain. Larson's not terrible. Allmendinger. All those guys in the rain I do like. Check my phone. Yeah. I don't know, Brian. I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know that he ever should be 100 to 1, but yeah. I skipped Brad Keselowski. Brad's like non-existent on road courses. Yeah, those 3 wins do make Bell dangerous today. Yeah. John Hunter, this is not a John Hunter track, and it looked like it in practice. Stenhouse looked as bad as anyone. Cody Ware, Noah Gragson, Ryan Truex, all those guys, everyone was terrible. Bell is great in the rain. I agree. But he's just overvalued. I know he opened 14 at Superbook and then got bet down to 12. Man, that's still really, really short for a guy starting 31st on a road course when he can't pass. So we'll see. If it rains, maybe bet him. Hammering Bell over Priest. Man, yeah, it is a small sample size, Highline says. I mean, and it was also it was at, Loudon where he was really good. He was good. Okay. Top 10. Should we go over top 10, kids? Top 10. SVG, Chastain, Gibbs, McDowell, Larson, Dinger, Elliott, Busher, Reddick, Bell, SVG, Chastain, Gibbs, McDowell, Larson, Dinger, Elliott, Busher, Reddick, Bell. There you go. Yeah, I'm gonna say just I'm gonna say Carson Savar could, but man, swap Cindric for Bell. I still think Bell gets up there. His car was fast. Yeah. Swap Cindric for Bell for Reddick. Yeah. My winner. Okay, I'm not gonna pick SVG. That's because that's kind of the clear, if a gun was to my head and I just picked the winner, I would pick SVG because I think he was the best in practice. He qualified the best. And in the rain, I think he's probably the best. I'm not going to ring the bell. Um, I'd like to go. I have both of these guys bet, obviously. Very rarely do I pick the winner and then not bet them. Um, I'm going to say McDowell or Busher. McDowell or Busher. I'll go McDowell. I'll go McDowell. A new winner today, Mike Jones says. Well, that would mean SVG. I think SVG could just destroy the field. Or Chase Briscoe could come clean him out like he did at Chicago and just take him out of the race. I think that there's a legit chance that we see good cars go down on restarts just because trying to go 3 wide between 1, 2, and 3 turns 1, 2, and 3 just doesn't work. Mayor McCheese. Oh, is that McDowell? Best outright values: Dinger, McDowell, and Busher. Correct, Ross. I agree. Yeah, SVG was better. Depends on his speed on the straightaway for SVG. I do think that, yeah, that'll matter a little bit, but I also think just getting off that final turn and getting to speed faster versus your top raw speed is going to matter a little bit more. Car was getting eaten alive on the straights at Coda. Yeah, I still think he was kind of the best car at Coda. I don't think Kyle Busch was the best. Yeah, SVG was vulnerable in the restarts at Coda, but I don't know. This is completely different, and he's got to be much better at driving a Cup car. He's how many races now is he? Now he's running at the rear, but he's been in a Cup car. He understands that car a hell of a lot more than he did when he first stepped in it, and he understands it a hell of a lot more this year than he did last year. So I think that, I do think it could come down to SVG. There's going to be a contender. I think the contenders are going to be McDowell, maybe Larson, maybe Dinger. I do think Busher's going to be flying through the field. There's a chance Chase Elliott gets up there. The best cars to me are the 88, 54, 71, the 9, and the 17. And then if Bell somehow gets up there. SVG, Byron, Bell. I don't think Byron, and I think Bell needs to get lucky. There's a certain starting spot where it's like, okay, I got to get a little lucky, and it's probably outside the first 7 rows. If you're beyond 14th, you're back there with the squirrels, man. Yeah, Steven says it just seems like they all know they're racing the 88 and he'll get roughed up at every opportunity. Yeah, probably. It'll also be interesting to see what happens after 15 laps. Yeah, it's going to be a slog for him. Yeah, but he's going to have to get off sequence. He's going to have to stay out long, and then hopefully on the backside of the run, the tires come in, or he's going to need to be the first guy to pit and then a caution. Yeah, the same thing that happened to CZ yesterday. That could happen to SVG. That could happen to any drivers up front. I certainly think that, because it wasn't just CZ that got screwed up yesterday. I mean, it was also Gibbs. It was also, Sam Mayer, and those are probably the 3 best cars. Chris Bell also had an issue. It's going to take something like that for a guy like Suarez to win, in my opinion. So, and that's what happened. Yeah, I'm on Ty Gibbs, but I do not like the way he raced yesterday. I don't like the way he raced. Yeah, the track limit stuff. Listen, I have a few outrights, and they're all over, outside of just my very tiny amount on SVG. I have everyone is 25 to 1 or higher. Yeah, Ty Gibbs raced like an idiot yesterday. I agree. Yeah, that's why you need to get properly paid. I think that there's a lot of unknowns this week. Yeah, Big Ross. I was thinking the same thing. Ty Gibbs does race like a dick on Saturday and meek on Sunday. I like long shots today. Make an anti-fragile race card. The crazier you want your card to get better, the crazier things get. Yeah, 3-1 is tough. Yep, Chris, I agree. Advantage SVG. Yeah. Yeah, they're different people. You'd bet on Todd Gilliland, maybe top 10. I don't know that he's going to win. Maybe top 5. You'd have to get lucky, though. But that's a scenario where you just kind of hang around, cash a ticket, cash a top 5, maybe cash a top 3. All right, everyone. I'm going to go to brunch. I'd rather lose all my bets than win on SVG at 2-1. Yeah, I kind of agree. All right, I got brunch with the fam, and then we got a race. So who's going to win the U.S. Open again? Who's going to win? Victor? Steven? Yeah. Yeah, happy Father's to everyone. Good luck. Like I said, I think SVG wins. I think best value is McDowell, Dinger, Busher. And it'll be interesting. Wow, a lot of people aren't sure. I don't know anything about F1. I'll miss F1. You can just watch. Oh, yeah, Hovland. A lot of Hovland, Ortiz, Spawn. Okay. Cody Ware today. Yeah, I'll take your action. All right, everybody. Cheers.